right, decoders, welcome back. Good evening, good afternoon. I hope everyone is having an awesome day. And please give me a thumbs up in the chat if the sound is coming through. So that way I'm for sure that people can hear what I'm talking about. And so I didn't have anything prepared currently, but I needed to go back. Thanks for the thumbs up, guys. Thank you, Birdie. Thank you, Marcy. Hello, Jose Hernandez and Sig310. Hello, Kathy. Hello, and Brian. Thank you guys so much for the thumbs up. So I didn't have a stream prepared of the current events because, again, guys, what happened the other day with the plane, the helicopter crash, and how I was talking about a dam the day before, and then all that stuff, I'm probably going to touch on that again, but I didn't have anything prepared. So I decided to go back to the beginning of this month, and there was a presentation that I had prepared that I never got a chance to present about the Tetragrammaton. So this decode is going to be basically, just so you guys understand, this decode is going to be kind of an older decode. So you're going to hear me talking about events that have already happened, but either way, it's still pretty current. It's just about a month old. So, but I really wanted to put this information out because it's kind of an important part of what I want to present over the next, the next year or so. I mean, I might talk about this further in the future. So it's important that I put this presentation out. So guys, please hit the like button if you're just getting in. I got 43 of you in the chat. Thank you guys so much. And Jessica, hello. Another War Machine, hello. Fitzgerald Holt, hello. But we're going to get to some of your comments at the end of the presentation. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. This isn't going to be a long presentation, but it's going to be filled with some interesting numbers about the Tetragrammaton. Okay, so so let's just jump right in, and as we go through, we'll kind of clarify some things. But let me explain how I came to this conclusion to begin with, right? So if you guys know, I follow wrestling a lot. I decode wrestling a lot. And at WrestleMania last month, right before the eclipse, Roman Reigns, who was the champion for 1,316 days, he lost his title, after this many days, right? So this is a very long reign for a WWE champion. But what I found very interesting about the number of days that he reigned, 1,316 days, right? In the Jewish cipher, guys, which is the Jewish gematria cipher, okay? The words Y, or the letters YH, Yod He Vahe, right? YHWH. This is the Tetragrammaton, guys, the 4-letter name for God. You can see right here, the Tetragrammaton consisting of 4 letters, or the tetragram is the 4-letter Hebrew theonym transliterated to YHWH. So the name of God in the Hebrew Bible, the 4 letters written and read left to right, or right to left, are Yod He Vahe. The name may be derived from the verb that means to be, or to exist, or to cause to become. Okay? So there's a huge connection here. And what I really want to point out about this guy is he's been presented in WWE as this unmovable force, as this godlike character, right? And he loses his championship, his title reign, at 1,316 days. And what are the chances that in the Jewish cipher, guys, in the very Jewish cipher, Yod He Vahe, or YHWH, equals 1,316? Okay, so that's how I first came to this connection. And so just remember this as we go through, that this guy just happened to reign the 1,316 days, which is the Yod He Vahe in English, YHWH, okay? And the day that he lost his title was at WrestleMania 40, WrestleMania 40, right? Well, WrestleMania 40 is like 4, right? And the tetragram is a four-letter name, okay? And notice that another word for the tetragrammaton is called the tetragram, which equals 40. So what are the chances that Roman Reigns loses the title at WrestleMania 40 after 1,316 days, which is the tetragrammaton, and tetragram, which is another name, equals 40. So WrestleMania 40, very connected to the tetragram and the tetragrammaton, okay? And I want you guys to notice here, let me just read this. Roman Reigns, he is the leader of the bloodline stable and a member of the Anoa'i family. Reigns' title reign of 1,316 days as WWE Universal Champion was the fourth longest. You guys get this? Roman Reigns was the fourth longest reign in WWE history, going back to the four-letter word for God, right? Yod He Vah He. And notice that not only was he the fourth longest reigning champion of all time, but Reigns is the 6-time world champion, having held the WWE Championship 4 times. Okay? Do you guys get this? So he was in his 4th reign as champion, and he was the 4th longest. Okay? So there you go again. You have the 4s. Okay? And this is what this decode's kind of going to boil down to, is how the 4-letter word of God is 4 letters and WrestleMania 40, and he was the 4th longest reigning champion and the 4th WWE champion. And again, his reign was exactly 1316, which is the Tetragrammaton. So this could be very interesting as we go through. So let's jump to the next slide. Now let's really break this open and understand how this really goes together with the Tetragrammaton. Okay, so as we know, the Tetragrammaton or the tetragram is a 4-letter, right? Yod He Vah He, right? This is the 4 letters right here. So what do? You take the 4 letters YHWH, okay? This is the English letters. Here is the Hebrew letters, okay? So English and Hebrew. And there's another way to write the Tetragrammaton. There's 2 ways in English that you can transliterate it. It's either YHWH or YHVH. Okay, so there's you either have the W or the V. Now, what I'm about ready to show you is interesting because notice that if you take the translation of YHWH, you get this translation, which is the 4-letter Tetragrammaton, right? So here's the Tetragrammaton right here in Hebrew, and here's the English. So what happens if you take the Tetragrammaton in Hebrew and you take it to the English and to the Hebrew gematria right here, guys, and you decode it, what do you get? You get 17, guys. Okay, so here's your first clue, right? You get the 4-letter word for the Tetragrammaton in Hebrew equals 17. This is in Hebrew gematria, okay? Now, if you take this to English and you type in the 4 letters YHWH, and you go to the Chaldean cipher, which is one of the oldest ciphers, okay? And that's why I'm using this cipher. This is one of the older ciphers and very relevant. This cipher comes through a lot of times. I don't talk about it a lot anymore, but what are the chances that the Tetragrammaton, YHWH, equals 17 in Chaldean? And if you take the other way of writing this, YHVH, it equals 17. So you guys see what I mean? Chaldean is the cipher where the V and the H, or the V and the W, are the same. So you get 17 for both ways of writing the Tetragrammaton in English. And you get 17 for the Hebrew Tetragrammaton. So I want you guys to think. I just gave you 3 different ways that the Tetragrammaton adds up to 17, okay? 2 ways in Chaldean with the English and 1 way in the Hebrew, okay? So this is obviously the most prominent number with the Tetragrammaton when you're decoding it. And that's interesting because in basic standard reduction English gematria, the word God equals 17. Again, So there you go. More confirmation. This is the Hebrew word for God, and God equals 17. In Hebrew, the Tetragrammaton equals 17. In Chaldean, both ways of writing the Tetragrammaton in English equals 17. And in Greek, it is Zeus who is the king of the gods. And Zeus equals 17 in the same cipher as God. So again, you have the same number coming up. We're going to talk later about how the Masons, a masonry or mason, is connected to the two pillars, right? But Boaz also equals 17, and Mason equals 17. And we're going to talk about why Masonry was founded in 1717, right? Again, 1717 was when Freemasonry was they came together, right? But the reason I have this 17 here is because I'm breaking it down, guys. 17 is the 7th prime number. And remember, God created the world, created in the Bible, the creation story is 7 days, okay? So if God is 17 in English and Hebrew and Chaldean, all leads us back to the 17. So we break down the 17 number and we get the 7. And what does the 7 have to do? I mean, there's probably no more important number connected to God than the 7, right? But 7 also breaks down to the 4th prime. And why is this important? Because again, if you start at the 17, you get to the 7, which is a number also associated with the creation story, 7 days, okay? And then if you break down the 7, you get to the 4. And the 4 is the Tetragrammaton. Why? Because it's 4 letters. Why is the name of God 4 letters? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, again, if you start with the 17, which is the gematria you get with the 4 letters, and you break it down, you get right back to the 4. Okay, and I just showed you in the last slide how Roman reigns reigned for 1,316 days, which is the Jewish gematria for Tetragrammaton. And he was the 4th longest champion and the 4th WWE champion at WrestleMania 40. And tetragram, which is another name for Tetragrammaton, equals 40. So again, it all comes back to the 4, right? So does the 17. It comes right back to the 4. Tetra means 4, right? So we're going to talk more about that as we go through. But now we're going to talk about Freemasonry, because Freemasonry, again, so if the name of God is connected with 17, all right, then why was Freemasonry established in 1717? So you have this year, 1717, very connected to the Tetragrammaton, okay? And what is the importance of Freemasonry being established in this year? Well, let me kind of break it down for you. So the first Grand Lodge, the Grand Lodge of London and Westminster, later called the Grand Lodge of England, was founded on St. John's Day, the 24th of June, 1717. Okay, again, going back to the Tetragrammaton, when 4 existing London lodges met. Okay, do you guys understand this? I just connected in this last slide how the 4 is connected to the 17, because the 4-letter word for God equals 17 in Hebrew and in English, okay? And 17 breaks down to the 7th prime, which breaks down to the 4th prime. And they're saying that in the year 1717, it was 4 lodges who met and created the Grand Lodge of England for Freemasonry, okay? And look at this. I told you that Roman Reigns lost his title at WrestleMania 40, right? And WrestleMania 40 was on 4/7. You guys get it? You know how the number 17 breaks down to the 7th and then the 4th? So 4/7, 4/7, right? And WrestleMania was on 4/7. It was exactly 289 days after the founding anniversary of the 4 lodges of Freemasonry, okay? What is 289, guys? Well, 289 is 17 squared. That means that the number of days between the anniversary of Freemasonry's birthday and WrestleMania on 4/7 was 17 times 17. And Freemasonry was founded in 1717 with 4 lodges, okay? So it goes perfectly with the 289, which is the 17 square, okay? That to me is undeniable, okay? And that leads us right back to the 17 again, okay? So let's keep going. Let's keep going and showing how Freemasonry is also tied to the Tetragrammaton. Again, four lodges come together in the year 1717. And if you go from the very day that the four lodges came together to the very founding of the United States on 7/4, okay, again, you have the 7/4, which breaks down the number 17 is the seventh prime and 7 is the fourth prime. So again, you have this 7/4 connection. But look at this, from Freemasonry being established to the Declaration or the United States birthday is 59 years and 10 days. So 10 is the completion number, but 59, guys, is the 17th prime. So again, you come right back to the 17. So 59 years after Freemasonry, the United States is founded. That's the 17th prime. Okay. Freemasonry founded in the year 1717. The word Mason equals 17. And again, the Tetragrammaton in Hebrew, the four-letter word, equals 17. Okay. And again, we're going to break down WrestleMania this year on 4/7 because, again, I told you Roman Reigns was perfectly connected to that. And the guy who beat Roman Reigns for the title on 4/7 was Cody Rhodes. Cody equals 47. The United States was established on the 4th day of the 7th month, 4/7. WrestleMania was on 4/7, okay? The number 17, which is the Tetragrammaton number, breaks down to 7 prime, and 7 breaks down to 4th prime. 7/4, 4/7. Do you guys get it? Freemasonry has the 47-degree angle, 4/7. Okay, again, it all goes back to the 17, guys, because the 17, I showed you all how important it is here with the Tetragrammaton and all the 17s. And this is because it breaks down to 7 and 4, 7th prime, 4th prime, okay? So it's no coincidence that Cody, who equals 4/7, wins the title on 4/7, right? And the degrees on the compass with the G in the middle, guys. What's the G, guys? The G is the 7th letter. How many different angles are here, guys? Count them. You have the 7. G is the 7th letter, okay? And you have 4 angles here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have the 7 surrounded by 4 angles. Once again, it's at a 47-degree angle. Okay, so it's so perfect, guys. 4 different sides, 2 on the top compass and 2 on the angle. So you have 4 and you have 7. Okay, so it goes perfectly. No matter how you look at it, the 4/7 to 17 connects. Okay. Now, the guy who is now in charge of the WWE is known as Triple H, or the Game. Okay, and notice his symbol, guys. His symbol is a 4 cross, 4 points, which is the Tetragrammaton, the 4-letter word for God. Okay, 4 points. The Templar cross. Okay, his name is Paul Michael Levesque, better known as by his ring name Triple H. And what's interesting, when you add up the letters 17, when you add up the letters 17, which is the Tetragrammaton number right here, you get 8, and Triple H is the 8th letter. So again, you come back. 17 is essentially the number 8, right? 1 plus 7 equals 8. Sorry, guys, my voice is going in and out right now. give me just a second. Let me take a swig of water here. But yeah, so Triple H, he's known as the Game, right? And he has the Templar cross, which is 4 points. And the Game equals 59, okay? And 59, again, is the 17th prime, going back to the 4-letter Tetragrammaton, which equals 17. Also, what stands out about his name, it does have a Q in it, right? And Q is the 17th letter, and there's not many names with Qs in them. I mean, think about all the names there are, and how many names have a Q in them, right? And his name is Levesque, which has the Q, and Q is the 17th letter, okay? And WrestleMania 40, where Roman Reigns lost his title, was dubbed the start of the Paul Levesque era. So the start of this guy's era being in charge of the WWE, okay? And again, I already showed you that Cody Rhodes was the one who started the era of Paul Levesque by winning the championship, and Cody equals 47. WWE's event on May 4th was the first event ever in France, okay? And Paul Levesque is a French name, French. The Templars connected to France. But yeah, WWE's first big live event after WrestleMania was Cody Rhodes in France, and France equals 47 like Cody. Again, going back to the 4 and the 7, right? But just looking again at Paul Levesque or Triple H, okay? Now look at all the symbolism this guy has with the Tetragrammaton or the Templar cross. Okay, again, the cross is just a 4-pointed, a cross is 4 points, right? Which is, in my mind, is the Tetragrammaton. 4 points, 4 letters, okay? And Paul Levesque is always wearing, Triple H is always wearing the Templar cross. You see it? All of his different symbols, okay? Throughout his whole career. And this I thought was interesting because he looks like a futuristic Terminator, right? So that's something to think about with this thing. This was from WrestleMania. This was from years ago. This wasn't recent. But you can see that he always has this Templar 4-pointed cross, right? And this goes back to the Knights Templar, right? The Knights Templar, the 4 points, which represents the 4 letters of God, the 4-letter word. And again, if we go back, the Knights Templar were all about Jerusalem, and we're talking about the Jewish Tetragrammaton, okay? And the Knights Templar were known as the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon, okay? So that's their full title, okay? And let's just dive into this, because if we just go to the simple English gematria, the 4-letter word for God, the YHWH, equals 64. And this stands out because in the same cipher as the Tetragrammaton equals 64, Israel equals 64, Zion equals 64, and the word tetra equals 64. So tetra just means 4, okay? And these are the 4 points. And in gematria, English gematria, the Tetragrammaton equals 64, like Israel, okay? And like Zion, and that's connected, right? Zionism, Zion, Israel, the Tetragrammaton, the word tetra, which means 4, all equals 64. But what's even more interesting is you take the full name of the Knights Templar, the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon, you put it in the calculator, in the same cipher as the Tetragrammaton equals 64, the whole title of the Knights Templar equals 604, okay? And in numerology, the 0 doesn't count, so you drop the 0. So what I'm showing you guys here is crazy, because the full name of the Knights Templar equals essentially 64 in the ordinal cipher, the same as the Tetragrammaton, and the same as Israel, and the same as Zion. And what is the chance of that? It's not a coincidence, guys. All right? Because again, this is in the same cipher. This is not like a different cipher. This is all in the same cipher. And 604 is basically the number 64. So they're pointing you back to the Tetragrammaton. And why do you think their symbol is a 4-pointed cross? That's the tetra. That's the Yod He Vah He. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now, let's analyze the actual biblical narrative of the I am that I am, okay? So let's read this. The Hebrew Bible explains it by the formula These are the Hebrew transliterations, but basically saying this is what these say. I don't know if this truly translates to this, but this translates to I am that I am. And you guys will remember that in the book of Exodus, Moses asked God out of the burning bush, how should I give your name to the Israelites? What should they call you? And God says out of the bush, he says, I am that I am. And this is the Tetragrammaton, okay? Now, I wanted to go back to Freemasonry again, because again, Freemasonry was established on June 24th, 1717. It had 64 date numerology, guys. You see this? The day that the Freemasonry was established had 64 date numerology, 6 plus 24 plus 17 plus 17, 64. Okay? The Tetragrammaton, YHWH equals 64. Israel, 64. Zion, 64. Tetra, which means 4, equals 64. Now, the day of the year that Freemasonry was founded is the 175th day of the year. And in Gematria, the translation of the Yod He Vah He, the YHWH, is I am that I am. Okay? I am that I am equals 175. Freemasonry founded on the 175th day of the year. 175. Okay? And again, this goes right back to perfectly with the 64s also because of the 64 date numerology. All right, so this is big, guys, because God wanted us to know at that time, essentially that was Jesus speaking before he was even in the flesh, right? So God wanted us to know at that time that this is what I want to be called. I am that I am, okay? And if you read it correctly, you're going to get I am that I am, okay? So he's saying, I am the I am. I am the, why do we say, before we even talk about ourselves, what do we say before we talk about ourselves, guys? Every day when we talk about our own personal lives, we say, I am. So every time we say I am, we pay tribute to the I am that I am. We pay tribute to the I am because this is us recognizing that without God, there is no I. There is no I am. The existence of us depends on the I am that we are. In God's I am, I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying, but basically what I'm saying is he's trying to tell you that he is that he is. I am that I am. It's so simple, so clear. And every day we say the words I am about ourselves, okay? So I just want you guys to think about that. Every time you talk about yourself and you say, I am, what are you really talking about? You're giving glory to God every time you say, I am. You're not giving glory to yourself, not yourself, but the actual I am, the true I am, the thing that is and was and never will be, not be. Okay. So just think about that every time you say and don't refer to yourself as I am. Every time you say I am, I try to do this now. I think every time I say I am, I'm giving God the glory. There is no Cody anymore. That's why Jesus is crucified on the Tetragrammaton. Jesus is crucified on the 4-pointed cross, showing that we must surrender to the I am. We must surrender to him, okay? So that's what I mean by that, right? The conscious God's presence, right? That's what we long for. And yeah, so that slide is just all about the I am. But I wanted to go back to Roman Reigns for a second. I showed you guys in the first slide that Roman Reigns, let me just go back so you guys people just getting in, can see what I'm talking about. So again, Roman Reigns, his reign at WrestleMania on 4/7 this year, it ended at 1,316 days, which is the gematria of the Tetragrammaton in Jewish, 1316, okay? And that was at WrestleMania 40, and tetragram equals 40, right? He was the 4th longest reigning champion, and the 4th WWE champion. He was in his 4th reign. So it was all about the Tetragrammaton. So I just wanted to remind you guys of that as I go into the next one, okay? So let's talk about Roman Reigns, because why was he so connected with this? So first of all, I told you that Triple H is the new head of WWE, and he's also known as the King of Kings, guys. The King of Kings. And again, look at his symbol. Again, the 4 points, the Tetragrammaton, the Templar cross. And again, this in the middle represents, again, surrendering your body to the cross and dying to yourself and letting God live and letting God be the only life that there truly is. You no longer exist, only God. Okay? And only your life is only lived, is God living through you. That's essentially what I mean. But anyway, the Templar cross, right? Triple H's nickname is the King of Kings, which equals 58. Okay, so this is the next number I want to talk about. Just the word Tetragrammaton equals 58. Okay. Now, Roman Reigns was known as the head of the table. So again, another reference to the one who's above all. So the King of Kings is a reference to the one who's above all, and the head of the table is also another reference to that. So head of the table equals 58. Okay. Roman Reigns was the leader of the bloodline. The bloodline, which equals 58. Okay. And again, we're going back to Jerusalem, which connects to all this, right? So Jerusalem 58, King of Kings 58, Tetragrammaton 58, the bloodline 58, head of the table 58. The phrase that they always tell us they write on the dollar, in God we trust. Who's the God that they're talking about? The Tetragrammaton. Notice that the phrase in God we trust is a 4-word phrase. Why do you think it's 4 words, guys? Much love to you, Illusion. I saw you're in there. I'll get to you guys' comments after the presentation. So why do you think the phrase on the dollar bill is a 4-word phrase? In God we trust. And why do you think it equals Tetragrammaton? Because Tetragrammaton is the 4-letter word for God. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's why it's a 4-word phrase. But notice that all these things equals 58 in the same cipher. In God we trust, secret society, the Freemasons, Freemasonry, and Solomon's Temple, all 58 in the same cipher, guys. Same cipher as Tetragrammaton. So it all pays tribute to this, the 4-letter word for God, right? Head of the table, bloodline, Jerusalem, King of Kings, all 58. And here I wrote the number 58 can be broken down as 5 plus 8, which equals 13. And 13 is 1 plus 3, which equals 4. And again, we go back to the 4. So that means the number 58 can be broken down to the number 4, which again goes back to the 4-letter word again. Okay? Always coming back to this 4 letters. And we're going to bring it all together with this last slide. All right? We're going to bring it all together. You got the 4-pointed cross. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're supposed to nail ourselves to the Tetragrammaton, essentially. That's how I see it, guys. We're supposed to nail ourselves, our separate ego selves, our satanic selves that we think we are. We're supposed to nail it to this cross of 4 points, just like Jesus, right? And in the center is where Jesus lives. You know, that's where he rose. He rose again. Again, this goes back to the Rosicrucians, but he rose after the 3rd day, right? But this is the 4 points. And again, God equals 17, right? And in Hebrew, the 4-letter word for God equals 17. Tetragrammaton equals 17. In Chaldean, both of the ways you can write the Tetragrammaton in English equals 17. So again, why the 17, guys? Why the 17? So again, the 17 breaks down to the 7th prime, breaks down to the 4th, and then you have this big number again. So just think of the 17 as the broken or the higher up of the 4 and the 7. And how is this connected, guys? That's because one of the biggest numbers in English gematria is the number 74. Why? Because Jewish equals 74. Occult, Lucifer, London, Gematria, English, the King, Masonic, God's Son, Messiah, Cross, Jesus. All 74, guys. So if you break the 17 down, you get the 74, which goes all back to all these numbers right here. Okay? And again, we started only with the 17, right? And we broke it down, and we still somehow get back to the very important 74. And you could say the 47. The 47 and the 74. Anybody who's done gematria for any length of time knows how important the 74 and the 47 are, okay? And you get that from the 17, okay? So let's just go back one more time. One little recap here. Roman reigns, how it was connected. I'm just going to do a quick recap, and then I'll get into the chat. Roman reigns reigned 1,316 days, which is the gematria of the Tetragrammaton in Jewish gematria. He was the fourth longest champion, and he was in his fourth reign at WrestleMania 40. Tetragram equals 40. The number in gematria, in Hebrew, Tetragrammaton equals 17. And in English, in Chaldean, both ways to write it equals 17. The number 17 breaks down to 7th prime, breaks down to 4th prime. Tetra means 4, which is the Tetragrammaton. From the founding of Freemasonry's birthday to WrestleMania on 4/7, okay, was 289 days. That's 17 square, which is 17 times 17. Freemasonry was founded in the year 1717 when 4 existing lodges met. Okay, so that's the joke, guys. 4 lodges met in the year 1717. And again, that's because 17 is the Tetragrammaton and 4 is the Tetragrammaton, okay? And Freemasonry, again, founded in 1717, exactly 59 years before the United States was founded on 7/4. 59 is the 17th prime. Mason equals 17. Tetragrammaton, 17, okay? 17 again breaks down to 7, breaks down to 4. Cody Rhodes won at WrestleMania on 4/7. The angle of the Freemason compass is 47 degrees. There's a G in the middle, which is the 7th letter, and there's 4 sides here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 with a G in the middle. There's your 7/4 again. And again, 7/4 is the birthday of the United States, okay? And again, the new leader of the WWE is Triple H, also known as The Game, which equals 59, which is the 17th prime. He's from French descent, which ties back to the Knights Templar, right? Knights Templar, the 4-pointed cross again. Knights Templar, if you take their full name in basic gematria, it equals 604. And if you take out the 0, it equals 64. The Tetragrammaton equals 64. Israel 64. Zion, Tetra 64. And again, the day of Freemasonry being founded was 64 date numerology. Again, Tetra 64, Israel 64, all the same letters, all the same stuff I just said. The day of the year when Freemasonry was established was the 175th day of the year. That's the I am that I am, 175. That's the Tetragrammaton, okay? And then again, Roman reigns, all the 58s connected with the Tetragrammaton, head of the table, bloodline, king of kings, all this stuff, okay? And then the last one was the 74, because 17 breaks down to 7 and 4, and all the important words in English gematria equals 74. So again, it comes around, and it all goes back to God. So there's this thing, like there's this, like, really, when you look at the numbers and you really bring it all back to that, it really, like, comes alive, And yeah, so let me get into the chat. Hold on a second. Let me bring up the comments so I can talk with you guys for a bit. So let's see who's in the chat here. John Holt says the number 17 spelled out equals 47 in keypad. So that's a good one. Let's just look at that. Let's look at it. Yeah, and there's a bunch of 17s, guys. Sabbath equals 17. And I want you guys to look at the the number 17, right? It's 1 through 7. Okay, 1 to 7, right? And how many days did God create the world, right? 1 to 7. So you have the all-encompassing 1 to 7 days here, okay? Which the Sabbath is on the 7th day, and Sabbath equals 17. DNA equals 17. And a lot of people say God is in our DNA, right? Of course, but DNA equals 17. The word I equals 17, okay? And 0 equals 17, but there's a lot of stuff that equals 17, okay? The word clock equals 17. That's how we tell time. But again, God equals 17. That's the main one, right? But just like John Holt just said, if you go to the keypad cipher and you type in the word 17, you get 47, okay? And what did I just tell you guys? The number 17 breaks down to 7 and 4. So you see this? 17 is the 7th prime, which is the 4th prime. So 7, 4, 47. And if you type in 17 in keypad, it equals 4 and 7. Once again. So thank you, John, for that. Let's see. What else you guys got? Let's see. I'm looking for comments here. Cole Locke says, I am is 23 in ordinal, and that is 23 in reverse. So I am that I am is 23, 23, 23. Yeah, that's interesting too. Very interesting. Let's see. Somebody mentioning XRP 58 in the ordinal cipher, 15 in Chaldean, 47 is the 15 prime. Interesting. Also connection to XRP. Thank you. Clear Pill. The Illusion. Guys, make sure you guys go subscribe to The Illusion. He has a channel. Make sure you guys subscribe to his channel. Okay. If you guys aren't already. He says Euro 2024 begins in Germany on Donald Trump's 78th birthday, and it will be the 17th edition. So there you go, guys. 17th edition of the Euros on Trump's birthday. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate that addition. And again, John Holt says the word 0 equals 64. Okay. So again, going back to the Tetragrammaton equals 64. Israel 64. Zion 64. Kimberly says letter Q is 17, of course. Yeah. And we know Donald Trump is connected with the QAnon, right? And Q is the 17th letter, right? And it's a very interesting letter, right? It's not a very common letter. You don't often see Q very much in spelling in words, right? Very rare. It's like Z, you know, you don't see the letter Z often, and you don't see the letter Q very often, okay? So it's a kind of a unique letter. Let's see what else you guys have to say. Keep giving me your info, guys. I'll keep bringing your comments up. Let's see. You guys got any more? If you guys got any more, just leave it in the chat. Zenith of the Alpha, he says, let's see. Zenith of the Alpha says Q equals 10 in reverse gematria, the 4th triangular number. Okay, so yeah, let's look at that. Let's just I know he's right. I just want to show you guys. So again, the letter Q equals 10 in the reverse, right? And if you break the number 10 down, you're going to get 10, which is the 4th triangular. Okay, so again, the 10 gets you back to the 4 again. I already talked about the Tetragrammaton, the 4-letter word. Okay. Let's see what else he's saying here. Hold on. Zenith says 6 plus 4 equals 10. Yeah, so there you go. Tetragrammaton, 64. Go back over and show that one quick time. So if you take the 4-letter word, and look at this, Q is the 17, right? Which breaks down to the 7th prime, which breaks down to the 4th prime. 10 breaks down to the 4th triangular. And again, if you type in the word, the Tetragrammaton, right? In English, YHWH, it equals 64. 6 plus 4 is 10. Okay. So again, you have that connection. Somebody says, let's see. Double check says NBA equals 17. Yeah, good one. Yeah, Fig. Sorry about that. Did something happen in the chat? I don't know if I didn't catch what you guys were talking about. That there was like a. I have nothing against you, Fig. You're always adding great information, so I don't know what's happening in the chat, but I'm not going to get caught up in it. Hopefully, everyone's okay in the chat. I don't like to get caught up in that. So, anyways, Zenith of the Alpha says, add the 4th prime, 7, plus the 4th triangular, 10. Yeah, there you go. Once again, getting back to 17. Uncanny Deduction says, translate that to Hebrew, and you get that letter, which is the name of the sun. Interesting. Good one. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll have to look into that. I can't pull up that calculator right now, but that's interesting. Translate that to Hebrew, which is it's connected to the sun, right? Let's see. D Zerda equals 6, or D Zerda says 64 is a cube number. Yeah. Let's see. Let's go back to 64. Let's break this 64 down. Yeah, so what's interesting about the number 64, right? So it's 8 times 8, right? That also connects to Trump. Trump equals 88. And it's the 4th cube. So it's the 8th square and the 4th cube. So 8, 4. That's interesting. But yeah, that 64 breaks down to the 4th cube also, right? So again, you get back to the 4. Yeah, and Zenith is saying the I am, right? Is the Son, right? The Son, Jesus, the Son. I am Son. Yeah, I get what you mean. And the sun illuminates itself, right? So what I find interesting that people overlook about the symbol of the sun does not need anything to illuminate it. Its natural nature is to be light, right? The sun cannot be anything other than illumination. Okay? So the sun can only illuminate, otherwise it wouldn't be the sun, right? So Jesus is that symbol also. Jesus is the light of the world, right? Jesus can only shine. There is no darkness in pure light. I always say this. There can be no darkness in pure light, just like there can be no darkness in the sun, guys. It's impossible for the sun to not shine, okay? The sun doesn't even need to shine on itself because the sun itself is shining. The sun itself, its nature is shining. So Jesus's nature, God's nature is shining, is vibrant light, right? Which is what we want to bring into the world. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. You know that song, right? So, right? Do you guys get it? Like there is only that shining light, that pure shining light that shines on everything. And God is that. Jesus is that shining light. He had to come into the world to reveal that light, to wake people up to that light, right? That conscious presence of God, right? And I see my buddy Sean's in the chat. Let me get his comment real fast. Let's see. I'll ask you, Sean, if you want to come on for a bit, like I always do. Oh, no, we didn't. But good point. So let's bring that up. Let's bring that up. So let me bring up the reverse standard cipher. Okay, so notice how the Tetragrammaton in English equals 1316 in Jewish, right? And as Sean just said, if you type in the word Jesus Christ, it equals 1316. So let me just show you here. 1316. You guys see it? So yeah, great point, bro. And also a good point about the Triple H thing. You want to come on, man? If you want to come on, I'll bring you on for a bit. Let's see. But yeah, it's really interesting that in reverse standard, Jesus Christ equals 1316, and then the Tetragrammaton equals 1316. I mean, that's pretty interesting. And again, that makes you wonder, why do you think Roman Reigns' championship reign was 1316 days? It could have been any other number, guys. Could have been any other number, but his reign was exactly this amount of days, okay? So that's what I find really interesting about that whole scenario. Okay, let's see. We'll go through some more comments here. You guys are doing an amazing job today. Thank you guys so much. Zenith of the Alpha says the light of the world, right? Jesus. So K Caps International says that in gematria, in reverse, I am the truth. Let's look at that. If you type in the words, I am the truth. So there you go. I am the truth also equals 64, guys. So kind of interesting, right? Going back to the Tetragrammaton again. Thank you. That's a good addition. Of course, we know that light is pure truth because it shines on the darkness, on the lies, right? It's kind of how I look at light. Let's see. I'm going to put the link in the chat if Sean wants to join, or if anyone else would like to jump on. And then I just want to be on for another 30 minutes or so, but if anyone wants to jump on, the chat is open. Here's the link. Let's see. Just trying to go through your comments, guys, see what anyone else is adding here. Jose Hernandez says 311 equals 3 times 11, which equals 33. Yeah, and 311 is the 64th prime. So that goes again back to the 64. All right, man, no problem. I don't know how much longer I'll be on, but if I'm still on, I don't know if I'll stay on too much longer. See if anyone else wants to join. Yeah, take care of what you need to do, man. No problem. But again, guys, thank you so much for joining in. I guess while we're waiting for Sean, maybe we can cover something else here. So I kind of wanted to, again, go over, well, what did I want to cover here? I kind of want to cover this real fast. I don't know if I'm going to do an actual video on this, but I want to cover just real quick the retirement of Pat Sajak. I know it's kind of random, but I really want to kind of talk about it. So Pat Sajak, right? Pat Sajak, Wheel of Fortune, final date appearance set. Okay. I want you guys to know that Pat Sajak was born in 1946, the same year as Donald Trump. So let me show you this. So Pat Sajak was born October 26th, 1946. Donald Trump was born June 14th, 1946. So Pat Sajak and Donald Trump were born 135 days apart. So if you guys haven't been understanding what I've been talking about with the door symbolism, right? I talked a lot about this in my prior streams. How Bray Wyatt, the wrestler who died, he was all about open the door. I don't even know what I'm saying here. Open the door equals 135, right? Just like Bray Wyatt equals 135. And if you go into the book of Revelation and you type in, behold, a door was opened in heaven. Behold, a door was opened in heaven. It equals 135. So let's just pull this up. Hold on. All right, so this is where it's interesting. I've talked a lot about this number and connections to open doors, okay? Behold, a door was opened in heaven. That's a quote from the Revelation, which equals 135 in two ciphers, okay? Bray Wyatt, he's all about Bray Wyatt, who opened the door. So there's this part of Bray Wyatt's character where he would always come through on this like Mr. Rogers set, and he would say, he would come through this door here. Let me see if the image will get bigger. But so here's this Bray Wyatt set, right? He always comes through the door. So what are the chances that open the door, which Bray Wyatt always is doing, equals 135 like Bray Wyatt, and the verse in Revelation, behold, a door was opened in heaven, equals 135 in two ciphers, okay? And I just showed you that Pat Sajak, so I'm getting to the point, guys. Pat Sajak, the host of Wheel of Fortune, is stepping down on June 7th. Pat Sajak was born 135 days apart from Donald Trump. Bray Wyatt died the day Donald Trump got his mugshot, okay? And so this is huge, guys. Bray Wyatt, he's all about opening the door. All the 135s connected with him and the door, all right? And Donald Trump and Pat Sajak are 135 days apart. Bray Wyatt died on the same day that Donald Trump got his mugshot, on Kobe Bryant Day. And what's Kobe Bean Bryant equal? It equals 135, right? So this is all connected. But I want you guys to understand why this Pat Sajak stepping down is so big right now and how it's completely connected to Bray Wyatt dying last year. So the final episode of Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse, I don't know if I'm ready to present this, honestly, because I don't have everything up that I want to present. Hold on. Final episode of Firefly Funhouse. So I'll just go ahead and tell you guys the date, okay? So the final episode of Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse was on 2/24/2023. Okay. So 1 year exactly after the Ukraine invasion. And my mom's birthday also. Yeah, so if you go from the last episode of the Firefly Funhouse, where Bray Wyatt comes through the door, okay, to June 12th. And the reason I'm going to bring this up is because I've been talking about June 12th. So let me see. Let me just bring it up here. Hold on. Firefly, Bray Wyatt, can you keep a secret? Can you keep a secret? Okay, so once again, notice the door. Let me see if I can find the actual thing here. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I guess I don't have everything prepared for this, but I guess I'll make a separate video about this, like an actual short video, because what I've discovered with Bray Wyatt and Pat Sajak and Donald Trump is super interesting. Okay, and I really want to talk about this, but I don't know if I have everything up right now to be able to present it very well here. But this is just a bit of a teaser, I guess, because whatever I'm going to talk about in my next short video is going to be pretty crazy, guys. So just remember, Pat Sajak, his last episode will be on June 7th. And we're going to talk about how Bray Wyatt actually paid tribute to Sajak before he died and how it's connected to Sajak's retirement. Okay. Let's see. Zenith of the Alpha. Let's see if Sean is on here yet, or if he's not. Yeah. Let's see. Zenith of the Alpha. 10/26 is Hillary Clinton's birthday. Recall Trump versus Hillary. Also, 10/26 was big in Back to the Future because Marty first used the time machine on 10/26. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I need to look more into this. Interesting. I see Brother Joseph was in the chat. Guys, make sure you go, as usual, make sure you guys go check out Joseph's channel. Those of you who are not already subscribed. Joseph Aquaviva 2222. Much love to you, brother. Let's see. Anyone else have anything else to add? I think I might get off soon. If Sean, if you're still listening, I think I might dip out. This will kind of be a shorter live stream. Hopefully going to do a roundtable soon where I get everyone on again. So just be looking out for a post about that. But yeah, I can't wait to release this video tomorrow, probably. Can't wait to release this video tomorrow on about this Pat Sajak thing, because it's really crazy. Oh, okay. I see you, Sean. Yeah, no problem. I'll add you. Sweet. There's Sean.
Hey.
What's up, man?
Yeah, sorry, man. I was doing a bunch of chores today.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, but I was listening to everything, and yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to get this. I told you about this decode like a month ago, or like not a month ago, but weeks ago, and I never put it out. So I kind of wanted to just get it out before it got so old that it wasn't even, it was, the event was way behind us. So, and I wanted to put the decode together about this Pat Sajak thing. I mean, again, Sean knows about this. I shared this with him, but I mean, this is really looking interesting for June 11th, June 12th, guys. I mean, what I discovered with this Bray Wyatt thing And everyone in the chat, Joseph is adding some crazy thing. Joseph says both of his 2 kids were born on October 26th. Crazy. But he's also saying that Donnie Darko's release was 10/26 as well. Wow.
Well, I think what it was, because Donnie, I think that was one of the dates in the movie, right? Because it took place in October of 1988. Is that what Joseph's referring to? 'Cause I think that was the day, like that was the day of the Halloween festival. I think maybe I'm wrong, but I remember seeing that date in the movie, like
The
in.
dates in the movie, really?
I think so, yeah, because the events, like when the plane crashes into the house, that's on October 20 or October 2nd, because you can see like it
Uh-huh.
says October 2nd. So then the events take place from October 2nd, and then he says like 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, 12 seconds, and then I think it's 28 days from October 2nd to basically the end of the month.
Yeah, I have to go back and rewatch this movie again, I guess, or just at least try to find try to find out, because that's interesting. Because again, did you see what I just put up about Pat Sajak and Donald Trump being 135 days apart?
Yeah.
I mean, can you believe that? And especially because of what I already told you about the Doors and Bray Wyatt and Donald Trump connecting with him too. Like, I just
So,
thought that was insane.
oh, Joseph was right, actually. I guess it's both. Because, yeah, it looks like it was released on October 26th, but I do remember seeing the October 26th the date in the movie too. But yeah, I guess it's both.
So it was released on October 26, 2001. And so he was, how old was he when that movie released? I just want to see the days too. Because that's interesting. It released on his birthday then. Oh, 289. Wow, interesting.
It was your 1717 again.
Yeah, no. And so he was 55 years old, which is also interesting. And that's the day leaving 66 days in the year, and he was 60 months old that day. I'm gonna have to look at this.
And with the end date, it would be 55 years, 0 months, and 1 day. And 5501 is the 726 prime number. I know Joseph knows a lot about the number 726.
You see, this also breaks down to a prime here too. 2271. Yeah, I don't know, but that's a good addition. I mean, maybe I'll be able to tie that in tomorrow if I release a video, because I just find it very interesting that this guy is retiring now, and I just feel like it's got to be a clue for some sort of financial thing or money thing, like it's got to be like maybe a clue for like a new financial system coming. You know what I mean? Like the retirement of the guy who's been doing the wheel of fortune for so many years, and then now all of a sudden, yeah, it just seems like a. And I'm wondering what Bray Wyatt really meant by "Can you keep a secret?" Is it something about like a financial crash or some sort of financial transition? Is that the secret that he's talking about?
Yeah, I know. I see what you mean.
So another person that has the 10/26 birthday. A lot of people have that, I guess. Crazy.
That's a weird. Like if you look at his about, it's kind of interesting how they add that detail about how he was a radio host during the Vietnam War.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of peculiar.
It says he was a disc jockey too. That's interesting. So he was a disc jockey during the Vietnam War. I wonder what disc jockey equals. He's born in Chicago. That might connect to Obama somehow. Obama being all about Chicago. It's funny, isn't it? Disc jockey equals 41.
That kind of reminds me too about, I guess, maybe that spiraling symbolism, like you know how it's like with the row, like just how the rows basically what that symbolizes the spiraling like towards the center and like a disc shot, like a disc kind of is
Right.
rotating too. And then you had the helicopter crash that just happened with the helicopter that has a spiraling thing too. So maybe those things
Right.
are kind of connecting to that.
Joseph says, look up. Man, my computer is being slow. Joseph says, Cody, Google Middlesex Halloween Carnival. Let's see. Okay. What am I looking for here? Do you see?
Oh yeah,
October
it's
20th.
yeah, that's what I remember seeing. That's from the movie. That's from
Oh,
Donnie
yeah.
Darko.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So in the movie, it actually mentions that, huh? Wonder what that whole thing equals. Hold on. It equals Central Intelligence Agency in two ciphers. And the 144, like Jesuit order, that's a big number, of course. Interesting.
It's Casey. I saw something interesting that Casey just wrote that it actually connects to what I was talking to you about before your live about Yevgeny Prigozhin. So he said it was the comment that says like, say Jack's last episode is on Prince's 66th birthday, and Prince died 66 days after Vanity, Lupercalia, and he's connecting that
Huh.
to Minnesota. But then he says that Revelation is the 66th book, the 11th
Right.
triangular, and the Gemini are the two twins. And that totally connects to what I was telling you about with Yevgeny Prigozhin, because he was a Gemini. He was born on 6/1/61. So he was born on June 1st, 61, and he died in the helicopter crash on Kobe Bryant's birthday, the last one. And yeah, so that's interesting with that 66 and the 1/1 connection, because like if you just look up Yevgeny Prigozhin's birthday,
How you spell
Yevgeny,
that?
with a Y, um,
I
if you
don't
try,
even
I'm
know.
pretty sure. Let me see. I'll try. Let me type it and I'll copy paste it. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Okay, hold on. Now I can't even figure out private chat.
I was thinking about because another thing that's interesting with Middleton or Middlesex, I was thinking about Kate Middleton, her having cancer, and what I've learned from Casey that Jupiter is exalted in the middle degree of Cancer, and Jupiter has to do with the Wheel of Fortune as well. And then we just had that alignment he pointed out on his community page. Yeah, so if you see his birth and death, so he was born on 6/1/61, and then he was a Gemini, and he died in a helicopter crash, like or a plane crash, like Kobe, but he died on Kobe's birthday.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and then I was gonna say something too, because you were just connecting it, or Casey was connecting Pat Sajak's with the 66 on Prince's 66th birthday, and then Pat Sajak turned 60 months old on Donnie Darko, which was the 66 days left in the year. Of course, he was born the day leaving 66 days in the year.
Whoa.
And now he's retiring on Prince's 66th birthday.
Yeah, that's probably why he brought that up. I think that might be why he brought that up.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's something with that. I mean, 66 is number of the beast, right? So that there could be something there, with that. And then I don't know, just the whole thing with Pat Sajak and I don't know. I'm still blown away really by how crazy that Firefly Funhouse is connected with it. And the fact that the 135 also came up with Trump and Pat Sajak again. Like I was like, I think I'm still trying to put the pieces together. There's still some pieces I'm missing to it that will even make it more solid. I just don't know exactly where to look right now, but
yeah.
Zenith says Pat Sajak's birthday last year until this final episode is 225 days. That definitely connects to Venus, I'm sure. Let's see. What do you got, Sean? You got anything?
Let me see. Well, I guess it's kind of interesting, I guess, that the day that that June 7th day, if you go because you know how if you look at the Wikipedia for Donnie Darko, there was 2 release dates, because the first one was the festival release, which was January 19th, 2001. And from that date to 6/7 is 12-20 weeks, 1220 weeks, like exactly. Or it's 120 12-20 weeks in one day, so it's like 12-21. I remember we were talking about 12-21 before, and that kind of has the same thing, like the 212 plane, that all that how that was connecting to Kamala and the Iranian president, the 212.
Yeah.
So if you want to just so you can see it visually, if you go from the starting date January 19th, 2001, which was the festival release of Donnie Darko, and then that 6/7 date. Yeah, I was just looking at the weeks. 12-20.
Yeah, I think it's got the 2. Let's see.
Oh, it's interesting. This is really interesting. Okay, go to the June 12th date. And with the extra day. So I just see Kobe stuff everywhere, but that's the date that was the date of his 666th career game. It was January 22nd, 2006.
Okay, yeah, I see.
So, I mean, that's kind of interesting because like Kobe, he had, his helicopter crash. Donnie Darko is about a plane crash. You know what I mean? And
right. Well, remember there's going to be something with a big plane crash, because I was decoding that Friday the 13th last year, and that movie Plane came out, and the front of the cover said it all starts with the crash, So it's like I'm just like expecting almost that there's going to be a high profile crash that starts something. And I don't think it was the thing that happened the other day necessarily. I mean, maybe it could be. Maybe it does turn something more. I don't know, but I mean, the president just died in a crash. But I think it's going to have to be higher profile than that, even. So.
Yeah. And then so then if you go from the starting date, Kobe's So the starting date, January 22nd, 2006. And then go to 6-7. So like go to the Wheel of Fortune day or the Pep Sajak day. And then take off the extra day and just look at the months and days. So that's that 2216 that I know Casey's like posts a lot about with the morning star, the bright morning star in Revelation, Revelation 2216.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting because that's like about Venus, and then that was, you know, Kobe scored 81 points that game. Venus equals 81.
Yeah, I also found it interesting that just to the 12th date, it was also, it could be two
shoot.
0, you know, that pretty much.
Yeah. And that's the like we were looking at that verse, like Isaiah 22:22 yesterday, how that has to do with what let me read it again. You know what I mean? We were talking about like the open shut symbolism yesterday, remember? And it was, and it has a lot to do with like, you know, Bray Wyatt and everything you've been finding on that.
And the whole thing with like the Wheel of Fortune tarot card and everything that everyone's talking about, and like, yeah, there's a whole bunch here. I still want to look into this, and like I just know that there's something connected more than I've already found with Bray Wyatt. I just need to, I don't know, I think this is gonna coincide with the return of Bray Wyatt's brother somehow. And the clues they're giving us already, you know, are just, yeah, I think it could coincide with that. It's just a matter of time to see what they do with that. But
yeah. Oh yeah, and then Casey reminded us that the Wheel of Fortune is the fixed cross.
Right.
And the 2222. Wait, I don't know if you were there when we were talking about it yesterday. It might have been when you stepped away, but we were talking about how the 2222 represents the fixed cross. I think you were there. Pretty sure
Yeah,
you
I
were
was
there.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. And then X,
I mean,
like Kobe with the like X is the 24th letter, Kobe 24, and
Zenith is bringing up a good point, because it kind of goes right back to what I started this whole video about, the fixed cross. It's the Tetragrammaton.
Right.
Yeah.
And then without the end date, it would be 22:21, like the final verse of the Bible. Again, Revelation 22:21.
Also.
Yeah. And then I did point out recently also that the time on the clock, 22:21 p.m., like military time, that's 13:41 minutes into the day. And that's interesting too, you know, the 13:41 with Gianna and Kobe.
Yeah. I was just looking at what Zenith said, because he said the tarot is like a 4-letter word again. Tarot. Let's see. Casey Jones, he's saying, and in the year 57, moon 57. What was in the year 57?
I think he's saying someone was born. They're talking about someone being born that day or that year.
I think he's talking about
Vanna White. Is Vanna White? Oh no, never mind. She was born 67. That's what Zenith said.
I'm not sure who he's talking about. Oh, he says it's 57. That would make sense, because I think she's older than that.
I'm gonna double check. She was born in 57, but she's 67 years old. So maybe that's.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so her birthday's 2/18/57, and she's 67 years old.
She's born on 2/18, huh? You know what's
Do you have
interesting
time?
about that? That was the day that article released earlier this year about Kamala breaking the bubble. Oh, and
Oh,
did
that
you
was on
see who's?
218.
Yeah, did you see who's replacing? Did anyone see who's replacing Pat Sajak?
Ryan Seacrest?
Yeah. So Ryan Seacrest talking about a wave. So this is what I'm getting out of this. The guy who's running Wheel of Fortune is stepping down. Pluto is returning just a few days later, also about wealth, right? And you have Vanna White, or you have Ryan Seacrest, a wave of, like, again, connected to money, how money and currency is always connected to water. So I don't know. Just watch out for the financial stuff around that time, because I'm just like, when I think of Seacrest, I think of a wave cresting, like, and then you have he's going to be all about the money now. So I just feel like there's going to be a wave of fortune or something, like a wave of money.
Casey wants to know if he can jump on real quick.
Yeah, I'm going to be on. Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, I like another 20 minutes I can be on, because my streaming time for the month is going to run low, so I don't want to take too much. But yeah, do you need the let's see. You need the link, Casey? Hold on. So there's the link in the chat. I see Sevens in the chat also. Vanna White appeared on Price is Right. Yeah. So Vanna White was also on that other money reference. Again, like I said, not a coincidence that a guy who's done Wheel of Fortune for his whole career is stepping down, and somebody's going to get, maybe somebody's going to get rich. I don't know. Maybe crypto holders, hopefully. But I don't know what exactly it's saying, but I just. All right, Casey, you're on. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear. Hey,
Yep, I can hear you.
yeah, it's just real fascinating. This is something I actually told Commissioner Derek a couple days ago. Is that Pat Sajak? He'll be turning exactly 80 lunar years old on the day of the last episode, and that's also uh, the same as 960 lunar months. And it's just fascinating because you think about Vanna White. To me, white is a color that's associated with the moon. Actually, a word in Hebrew for the moon is levana, and that comes from a word that means white. So like, and then you also have like Isil, which the L in Isil stands for Levant, right? And it's a similar etymology. But so yeah, and the fact that she's born 2/18/57, that's the most moon date you can be born on. Moon is 2/18 Hebrew gematria. Moon is 57 ordinal. If you spell out 57, it's 1361. 1361 is 218th prime number. So it seems to me like, very coded to the moon that last episode. So.
Well, that would also somehow tie into what I'm thinking about with something financially happening. Yeah, I feel like, because of, I haven't shown this yet, but because of what Bray Wyatt released in his last episode, and he literally dressed up as Pat Sajak, and then he made a spin-off of the Wheel of Fortune show, and then he gave us the dates. He gave us dates in there. Actually, Sean, don't you have the pictures of that on your computer, or maybe you don't have those?
Was it from our conversation?
Yeah, I thought you had like the screenshots of. It's not a big deal. I'll just make a video about it tomorrow. But I was just I would just want to show people as I'm talking about it. But because I'm just gonna make a video tomorrow. It doesn't matter. So
Can you repeat which
Oh,
ones exactly?
I was just thinking about the two photos. The one of with the 6'10", 6'11", 6'12", and then the
Yeah, I can get
the
that.
photo of.
Yeah, we were looking at that yesterday.
hey, one more thing I wanted to add before I go, 'cause I know you're short on time. No, I know the 225 came up, and I just love, and we talked about that last stream. There's a lot of 225s going on, but just the fact that it's 15 squared, it's 15 times 15, which uh, it looks a lot like the word Isis. Isis is a goddess of the moon, and it has an 88 Hebrew gematria. And actually, I think I mentioned this too as well. The moon was at 88 degrees, the ecliptic on the first, 9/11. I'll end it there and let you guys take over.
Yeah, man, I appreciate the insights. Really helps us out when we're talking about this because I'm hopefully, I can piece this together and make a video tomorrow. I'm just kind of, if you think of anything else, just let me know also in the Discord.
Have it up if you want me to share it real quick.
Yeah, you can just share the screen if you want. Yeah, so you guys can see this is the picture do you have the screenshot from before that? Like the one where it looks like the Wheel of Fortune? Like the stylized? Yeah, right there. So this is a screenshot of where Bray Wyatt's last Firefly Funhouse episode before he died on 2/24/23. And you guys can see it's clearly stylized in the stylings of Wheel of Fortune, right? But instead of calling it Wheel of Fortune, it's called Can You Keep a Secret? And then if you go to the next one, Sean, that's where it shows still to come, right? So like a late night shows, it's like what's coming up in the next hours. But notice that it says, Can you keep a secret? Still to come, 610, 611, 612. And I read those as dates. You see the 666 there, but you can also see the 610, 611, 612. And it's clearly to me pointing us to these three dates or something. Yeah, and again, if the reason this really connects is because from the date of that episode to Pat Sajak's or to the 612 date, which is the last date on this screen here, 612, is 474 days. And Pat Sajak equals 474. And again, Bray Wyatt is dressed up in this very episode as essentially Pat Sajak. He looks a lot like Donald Trump, though, which also ties to this whole thing because Donald Trump and Pat Sajak were born 135 days apart, and Bray Wyatt equals 135. So, and he starts out this episode by saying, Who opened the door? And again, I told you guys this 135 is all about doors. So that's why Bray Wyatt is the door guy. And it seems so perfect to me. And considering all the stuff I've already shown about this 611, 612 time frame, it just seems really crazy to think that this also points to that. So yeah, Decode will be coming out tomorrow, hopefully on this, if I can put it all together and make it fluid.
Can I share something real quick I just found about it's really interesting regarding Trump's birthday coming up.
Yeah, go ahead.
So like how there's this yeah, Pluto and Phoenix are like synonymous.
Right.
So I think I talked about this movie yesterday, the X-Men Dark Phoenix. So this came out on 6/7/19, right?
Ooh,
6/7/19.
Interesting. That's the same day he's retiring.
And so that 6/7/19 is interesting because that's the amount of time between both eclipses. 8/21/2017, 4/8/2024. Oops. 6 years, 7 months, 19 days, right? 6/7/19.
Right.
And I was looking at this, like Kobe's the first time Kobe won like the championship. So it shows here that the dates were 6, 7 through 19, 6, 7, 19.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like Kobe's 666 game. And if you go from his 666 game to Trump's birthday, it's what the heck? 6, 7, 19 days.
Wait,
From Kobe's 666 game to Trump's birthday, which happens to be the United States Pluto return. Kobe being Pluto, 24 and 8.
Wow.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. Wow. That could be another connection. I mean,
it looks like that whole week is going to be really interesting.
I mean, yeah, it should be. It 100% should be. I mean, just the Pluto connection alone to Trump's birthday, landing exactly on his birthday, that alone, and not to mention everything I've shown about June 12th, and everything Jurassic and I have shown about June 11th this year, connected to Cody Rhodes and also connected what Jurassic Liars has already shown. I just don't see how you can't at least have something. I mean, maybe there won't be anything. I don't know, but
like, what if, like, maybe, like, I'm not trying to say this would happen, but what if there was some type of, I don't know, like, cataclysmic thing around those dates, like the 11th and 12th, which caused like infrastructure to like mess up, like, I don't know, the banks or like technology or something like that, like, and then like we just couldn't access. Maybe that would lead to a blackout, or maybe a blackout would lead to some, you know what I mean? Like, maybe something's going to cause something that's going to keep going in the next few days. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's how I would see it happening if it's going to be really a life-changing event, I mean, and what Zena's saying here in the comments, 67 is the 19th prime.
Yeah, exactly, that too. And then also when you go from 6, 7, 19 to that eclipse, it's 1767 days. And remember, Kobe was the 1767th prime amount of days when he died. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that is weird. Crazy, man. And just so people also know, I'm just watching out for a few days from now on Bray Wyatt's birthday.
Oh, there was another thing too. I think so this 60719, I think. Yeah, it's the 6120th prime.
Ooh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting too about the 6719? Well, if there's going to be something, it would make sense because you know what chaos equals in gematria, right? It equals 19. So, you have this 6-7, which is the 19th prime, and then you have 6-7-19. So you have like two 19 connections there. And then you have chaos equaling 19. So
yeah,
maybe something. And I was reading also a bit. I was trying to make some connections with this whole wolf symbolism because you have, obviously George H.W. Bush's birthday is 6/12. There's going to be the NBA game there. The Timberwolves could literally be playing on Timberwolves' birthday, 6/12. And the Timberwolves could be in their first finals also. And the wolf is a symbol of Rome. And it's a symbol of Kamala also. Kamala and Amala, the wolf girls. But it's also a symbol It's also a symbol of Norse mythology, which is Fenrir. Now, Fenrir is the wolf that is released in Ragnarok, and Fenrir brings chaos to the world along with Loki's other children, Loki's 3 children, the big worm, Jorgamenden or something, whatever, and then Fenrir. But and don't forget that consider that it is the Minnesota Timberwolves, and consider that Minnesota also has the Minnesota Vikings. So you have 2 Norse connections there, the Vikings and the Wolves. And Fenrir is probably one of the most famous wolves too, other than like the basic like Rome being founded by Romulus and Remus, who were nursed by a she-wolf. But this is basically about chaos, this Fenrir, and but he's the one that actually kills Odin in the story during Ragnarok. So he actually kills Odin, and then Odin's son is the one that kills Fenrir. So it's this battle that happens, right?
Yeah.
So this Norse mythology is actually more relevant than a lot of people ever give it credit, because they're always paying tribute to Norse mythology.
Yeah, I feel like it gets kind of slept on too. That kind of motivates me to look more into it.
I mean, I always want to look more into it, but I always get off of it. But the reality is that I've seen WWE pay tribute to it many times. Many times. They had the Viking Raiders stable, and they were literally saying that Ragnarok is coming, Valhalla is coming.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so this was just recently too, like in the last year, they had this group of Vikings, Raiders. What's really crazy too, they called this group the Viking Raiders, right, in WWE.
Mhm.
And the Super Bowl in 1977, I believe, was the Vikings versus the Raiders.
Oh,
And
wow.
we're talking about the year 1977 right now in connection to Seattle Slew and Elvis and everything that happened in 1977. But I think it was Super Bowl in 1977. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was the Raiders and Vikings, and I think it was on Elvis's birthday, I think. Or no, I don't know when it was, but I can check it myself. Hold on. Vikings, Raiders, Super Bowl. Oh yeah, see, it was the Vikings versus Raiders, January 8th, 1977. Elvis's birthday, man.
Oh, wow. What the heck? That's crazy.
That's why I say, like, oh, sorry, it was January 9th, so it was one day after his birthday, but it was the Rose Bowl, man.
Wow. Oh my God. The Rose Bowl.
And the final score was 32-14.
32-14.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, all I'm saying here is that I'm looking into this wolf symbolism in this Norse mythology, because also the raven is very connected to Norse mythology and Odin. And in the Bible, it says ravening wolves, right? Jesus says, beware of these false prophets. They're like ravening wolves. And the word,
it's interesting. Oh, sorry. I'll say it after.
I just thought that it's interesting that he uses the word ravening, because ravening literally has the word raven in it. And you have this raven and wolf connection. Norse mythology, the 2 big characters is Odin's ravens, and then Fenrir, the big wolf that kills Odin. So
yeah, I was gonna say there might be there's got to be something with this vampires werewolves thing, because that's probably why like King Charles he just had that painting come out. Everyone knows him for his vampire connections, and now all the stuff with the werewolf or the timber wolves, and yeah, there's got to be something like, because I know like Twilight's like about like wolves versus vampires, right? Something like that.
right, yeah. Yeah, I think
But that's just
you're
really
on.
just about like it just has a lot to do with like the underworld, right? Like Hades.
Yeah.
I don't really I've never really seen it, so I don't really know the
I didn't really watch it either, but I know that there's these two factions. Yeah. But I'm just wondering, the whole story of Norse mythology and Ragnarok is just so intriguing because it's like the gods fighting against these monsters, and trying to, stop the end of the world essentially, right? So I'm just wondering like how all this plays together. And this movie probably also ties because you have these two factions warring against each other.
Mhm. Have you heard of the Ragnarok anime?
No.
I'm actually in the middle of watching it right now. It's pretty cool. It's it's um it's about the humans versus the gods.
Huh.
And it has like all like Zeus, Poseidon, um like everybody.
So they're calling it Ragnarok, but they're incorporating the Greek gods, huh?
Yeah, no, it's like it's interesting because it's like a tournament and it's like all the like it's the gods versus humans, like so it's the humans from different periods of time, but then they're using like the Greek gods and the like the gods of different mythologies. So it's like everything is just like um I guess it's just like all shuffled around like that. But like there was
Right.
one battle that one of the battles it's between Zeus and Adam.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because so I guess Adam's superpower is that like he's the best um like uh what's the word when something's like a not a copy like a carbon copy, I guess. Like he's a perfect carbon copy of God because he's the first, first creation. And then like how
Uh-huh.
they say like, oh, like we can make like human or God they become like us. So like
Right.
his superpower is that um he could copy every single move that the God is gonna make because he's the perfect copy of him. So um it actually like he actually puts up a good fight against Zeus, but he ends up losing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
I
just
didn't even know about this show at all. Never. It's on Netflix.
yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Huh.
It's pretty
Interesting.
interesting.
I'll have to look at that maybe a bit. I just seeing a lot of like this Norse mythology stuff, right? And I don't think enough people do talk about it. Um, I remember Rambo. He would often mention Norse mythology, but other than that, you don't really hear anyone talk about it.
Hmm.
So
Have you ever heard of this movie, Northman? This this one came out in 2022, and this was about like um, there's a lot of like that kind of stuff in here.
yeah, and there's so many shows that portray this type of stuff, too. Isn't there a show called Vikings and
Oh
like
yeah.
there's actually even a Norwegian show that I think just had its final season called Ragnarok on Netflix. It's like a Norwegian show. So yeah,
Oh
they
wow.
definitely like really bear down on this stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just wondering, this year about the Ravens and Odin and how it might tie in, or just even how you have the Timberwolves now having a chance to go to the finals. And yeah, so just
Mhm.
there's probably something there, and I'm still looking into it, but definitely something I have to touch on with the Wolves because I keep seeing it, and especially if the Timberwolves make it to the finals, and especially if they win the finals. Um, but also did I mention this yesterday? How all the code names or the president's code names are involved? George
Mhm.
H.W. Bush, his nickname was Timberwolf. But what's interesting, you know what Biden's code name is, right?
Yes, Celtic.
And so you have the chance to be the Timberwolves versus the Celtics. I really feel I'm leaning towards that matchup myself because of that, because of the code names. But then
Especially
you
because
also
it's
have
like election year too. So like that
right.
might be why it's like pointing to the presidents.
Yeah, but the other one, you have the Mavericks, which could connect somehow to JFK because the Mavericks are based out of Dallas, where JFK
Oh
was killed.
yeah.
And then the other team that's involved is the Pacers, and that's the only team I'm not seeing like a great connection to with the president stuff. But I'm sure there's something there.
Yeah. I don't want. I'm pretty sure AJ will be okay with me mentioning it, but he brought up a good point with the Mavericks. How so like the on 9/11 the flights were 77 and 11, right? Was that it? Flight 11 and flight 77 on
Yeah,
9/11, and
yeah.
the stars of the Mavericks are number 11, Kyrie Irving, and number 77, Luka Doncic, and I think they play in American Airlines Stadium, or is that what it is? American Airline Stadium. Wait, where did the Mavericks play? Yeah. Okay. Here, I'll pull it up. So the Mavericks play American Airlines Center. So I got this from AJ. Okay, AJ was telling me this yesterday. So the American Airlines Center, that's where the Mavericks play, and then again, Doncic and Irving, they're number 77 and 11. Wait, I thought you said oh yeah, right here. 77 and 11, and then 9/11 where it flights 77 and 11. You see what I mean?
Yeah, he used to play for Brooklyn.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right too. Wait, so is he number 2 now? Oh no,
It
he's
looks like
number 11 now. Because this is he's on the Mavericks right here.
yeah, but even if he's wearing number 2 now, it still makes sense because you just combine 1 and 1 and you get 2. So it's like 2 ones become 2, which is just one number. Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
he's 11.
American Airlines flight 77, and I thought I know it says something about flight 11 as well.
Well, even if there's not a flight, I can't remember that either if there's a flight 11, but even if there's not, you still have the 2 towers that look like 11 on the 11,
Yeah.
so
Oh, okay. So American Airlines flight 11 was hijacked by 5 Al Qaeda
yeah.
terrorists. So yeah, I guess flight 11 and flight 77. So that's interesting that also that the Mavericks play at American Airlines Center.
Now, remember, I told you about Logan Paul, right? Logan
Mhm.
Paul's nickname is the Maverick. So just before this, you're going to have Cody and Logan Paul Maverick. I think the clue might be in the WWE match, which is going to finish before the series is over. So yeah, you notice how it says Logan Paul Maverick take flight. It's all about flights. He comes down from the rafters like he's flying. But the thing here is he's the Maverick, right? And he's going to face Cody Rhodes in Saudi Arabia, right? The Middle East, right? That's where the flights they were hijacked by Middle East people, and Cody Rhodes is most likely going to beat him. I don't see Cody Rhodes losing. I don't see it. So, is
Yeah,
this a symbol of?
I was gonna say Casey reminded me of something that just it really ties into all this because like 6/11, like 6/11 being that important date. So so the federal the FAA
Yeah.
So they so that's like 611, 611, like 611.
Yeah.
And he also reminded me that Uranus being the sky god, is 611.
Interesting. And interesting that Uranus equals Elvis, because in Elvis in Jurassic Liar is all about Elvis and 611, right? And Uranus equals 611 and it equals Elvis. Equals 135 too.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
820. I didn't know Elvis equaled 824. What the heck? Did you know that?
but yeah, no, I didn't know that either.
And it's the 242 is interesting because we right now we're in the 242nd year of Los Angeles.
I mean, look at
So
that too. I mean, look at these numbers though. He has the 135, man, even also. And he has the 93.
so right now Los Angeles is 242 years old.
Huh. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. And he has the 824. And the 242 was the blackout is commencing number also. And it was connected
okay.
with
Oh, sorry for cutting you off. My bad.
No, but remember the show 911 the blackout, and it came out in 2021 and it was connected to Los Angeles blackout. And Bray Wyatt and Bray Wyatt, the last person he faced was LA Knight.
Oh, that's not it.
So yeah, the last person that Bray Wyatt faced was LA Knight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing with the 242 was the Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles. They released that video on their website called "The Blackout is Commencing," and I believe that equals 242, if I'm not mistaken.
The blackout is commencing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's where I always saw the 242 connected, because that's the exact phrase they used in their trailer. That's literally what that's why I decoded that. The blackout is commencing is literally the phrase they used. So
this also points I guess I can show you real quick. So this 242 points to Revelation because one sec. So when you look at like the 2 and the 42, let me make bigger. So it has to do with the 404 verses of Revelation. So like there's 404 total verses, and then the 404th prime is 2777. So when you add 404 plus 2777, that equals 3181. And so when you look at 2 and 42, the second prime is 3, and the 42nd prime is 181. So I believe there's something to that. Like I've thought about the 242 for a while because of that reason.
okay, yeah, it makes sense.
And then there's also something I thought about when I was watching your stream about the Tetragrammaton, and like how you were talking about like number like 47, but then also like the number like the seventh, like the fourth prime is 7, and then the seventh prime is 17, right?
Yeah.
And then the 17th prime is 59, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you go from 4, 7, 1759 to when Freemasonry was, when Freemasonry was founded, which is 624. Oh, dang. 1717. So I'll show that real quick. So again, 4/7/1759 to 6/24/1717. So that's when Freemasonry was founded. 4/7. Damn it. 4/7/1759 to 6/24/1717. It's this many days, and that's the 1781st prime, and that happens to be the year that Los Angeles was founded.
Huh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah. What is Los Angeles birth? 1781.
Oh, 9/4 also.
Yeah. And so that's interesting because it's right now it's 242 years old, and there's definitely that connection with like you're just talking about the Tetragrammaton and like how it connects to Freemasonry and
Right.
So I feel like there's definitely got to be something to Los Angeles, and like how you just mentioned like LA Knight, how Bray Wyatt's last match was against LA Knight, like
yeah.
LA,
I mean, for
LA
sure. For sure, that's why it was called a pitch black match too. Don't forget that. I mean, you can't get any more obvious than that.
Yeah,
So,
and because how it was 911, black pitch, or what was it again? 911
blackout.
Yeah. So I showed this in my video yesterday. So when you look at that time 2:42 on the clock PM, it's 14 hours 42 minutes, and that's the ordinal value of Revelation 9:11 for 1442. So that's like, so that points to 9/11 again, or it points to that show again, the you see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Wait a minute. They used now I just also had a crazy thought here. I just realized this. Holy moly. What I just realized is crazy. I'll let you finish your thought, but this is insane.
I mean, that's pretty much it. So yeah, Revelation 9:11 is 14:42, 14 hours 42 minutes into the day is 2:42 p.m. Right now we're in the 242nd year since Los Angeles was founded, 1781, and yeah, just from 4/7
Yeah, so type in so type in Charlie Watts real fast. Charlie Watts. Oh no, like Google search him and look at his death date.
Oh wow.
You realize how crazy this is? You know who that guy is, right?
Was he an English musician who oh, Rolling Stones.
But you realize what song was in the trailer for the Blackout Los Angeles 911? It was his song, bro.
The one that Sierra did the cover to?
Right. Yeah. And so do you understand how this comes back around with Kobe Bryant, LA, Bray Wyatt? All connects perfect because he dies on Kobe Bryant Day, the same day Bray Wyatt died. Bray Wyatt faced LA Knight. They used his song in the Blackout 911 LA, and then he dies the same day, man. And his name is even Watts too. Let's not leave that out. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
and the song they used is Paint It Black, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's the whole clue right there, all the way back around. And who's the LA Chargers? The LA Lightning Bolts. Oh, and by the way, their quarterback's name is Herbert. So that connects right back to the Herbert Hoover.
Wow.
So the Chargers are going to be a team to watch this year, honestly, because Well, first of all, because Jim Harbaugh, who was at Michigan, who won the championship in college football this year, he is now the coach of the LA Chargers. And he was the one in the blackout bowl. Do you understand? Like, this is insane, actually.
Oh,
I need to do
wow.
I need to do a blackout is commencing part 5 because I have all the stuff already in my head, how all this all connects. I just need to put it down on slides because do you understand that the guy who was in the blackout bowl is coming back to the NFL now, right before the Super Bowl in New Orleans next year, where the blackout bowl was in New Orleans, and it's exactly 4-3-9-0 days apart, and 4-3-9 is the 85th prime, and blackout equals 85. And now he's on the Chargers, this guy who was in the blackout bowl, and he's in LA. And we just had Charlie Watts die and Bray Wyatt die on Kobe Bryant Day, who's from LA. And it's so perfect, man. It's all pointing to that blackout. Whenever that is, whenever that's going to be, it's all pointing to that. Because,
dude, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I mean, and Bray Wyatt even told us with the match, the pitch black match against LA.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, but
what were you saying?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm gonna get ready to end it, but you can whatever you want to say, you can finish.
Oh, I was just gonna say there's another interesting 242.
What? Oh, really? Oh, shit. Crazy.
Of course.
So yeah, that's our 2 names, guys. We got the 242 in there.
Oh, also, sorry, real quick. So the day after 9/4/1781. So the day after the Corona earthquake, it was 242 years, 242 days. Oh, from the founding of Los Angeles. I forgot to mention that. But from the founding of Los Angeles to the day after the Corona earthquake, it was 242 years and 242 days.
That's insane, man. So wait a minute. So 242 years right now. Okay, can you go to the date the Eagles released their Blackout is Commencing video? I think it's November 27th. You can look it up if you want. I think it's November 27th, 2022. Pretty sure.
Wait, 22nd?
27th. Yep, it is.
Do you want me to go check that date?
No, yeah, just check that date to. Yeah, just check that date to like.
Oh, like maybe 6/11.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
103, huh? Like dragon.
Maybe.
I mean that 103 could be interesting, but.
Oh well, this is kind of interesting. So, to Trump's birthday, it's the golden ratio. Kind of.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wait, that is interesting because Philadelphia had that ritual that very year where the final records was 16180 of the 2 teams. The Texans and the Eagles had that record that year, or that same year, man. That's where I did a whole decode on that.
Oh, and then also and then also Casey reminded me also that this was what was it? Oh. Because this is the 103rd prime, and Mercury equals 103, and that guy, Charles Watts, he was born in 41, and Mercury equals 41 to Kobe's obviously super tied to Mercury.
Well, the 103 is actually, yeah, I mean, could be a big number this year considering its dragon number. And Yeah, I don't know. I'll look more into that also, but I think I'm going to get ready to hang it up because I don't want to go too much longer with this stream. But
So I'm talking to you again, man.
yeah, thanks again for coming on as usual. We always find some extra stuff for me to look at. So, and thanks Casey also for pointing stuff out. Also, big shout out to Joseph and to Zenith and even 7-1 who was also in here sharing stuff. So yeah, I appreciate all you guys showing up. And to all you people in the chat, let me just bring up some yeah, so yeah, anyway, thanks to all the people in the chat. And we'll see you guys, I guess, in the next video, right, Sean?
Yeah. Hit the like if you haven't done it yet.
Yeah, hit the like, guys. And have a good evening or day wherever you guys are at. God bless you all. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Peace out. See you, Cody.
See you.